Hello there, it's me, it's Sarah, and today I thought we would do like a commentary video about ITZY's eras. So I've actually been going through all of ITZY's music videos and doing like every music video, but it's just Leah type stuff, and I'm almost done with those. But in the like big task of doing that, I've like actually realized how much I genuinely enjoy a lot of ITZY's music videos as well as like just the eras overall. So I've just been thinking about it a lot. So I figured let's look at those eras and let me tell you like some of my favorite parts of each era as well as some things that I think are misses or I just outright don't like. All right, so my favorite part with Dalla is really just the music video and then the overall style and aesthetic of the music video. I don't really think their stage outfits were particularly great. Like, I thought they were just average. They definitely expressed kind of that, ooh, we're different thing, right? But overall, I was really into this, rewatching this. The concept is really good, and dare I say, different. Anyway, yeah. And now my least favorite thing, I am sorry to say it, but also not sorry, is the title track and the beats B-side Want It. Want It, we could throw that in the trash today and I would be like, that's great, awesome. Dalla Dalla is a nice song, but I never have understood the hype that everyone seemed to have around it and I still don't get it. So, it's a good song, but I feel like people are like, this is defining a generation. And oh my gosh, this is no. I mean, you can have your opinion, but like, no, it's just, I do not see that. I do not hear that. Um, it was a good debut, but it's not, world shattering like I feel like some people acted like it was. Fun fact about Icy, did you know that me and several people that were part of the Sims 2 forums back in the day actually used the term icy to mean cool all the time? And we were pioneers. So honestly, I feel like ITZY and JYP should be thanking me, but I digress. So my favorite thing about this era, once again, the music video and the styling and aesthetics in it. ITZY is so clearly developing an identity and a brand, and I love the continuity and how it's also obviously kind of evolving in a sense. I really like it, and it's not just all about like the kind of be yourself girl power anthem. It's also just, like I said, in the aesthetics. Like when you're seeing that pop art stuff, when you're seeing the chat bubbles over people's heads, like just all of these things come together so nicely and add to that identity they're building. And I love seeing that. Obviously, it's only the first comeback, but it's just really nice to see the continuity there. However, my least favorite thing about the Icy era is literally, hate to say it, the song. I will say over the years I have come around to the song, but it's still doing nothing for me, you know what I mean? Like, but on a more serious note, I will say I do feel like during Icy is where we kind of see the emergence of the Leah hate, especially in regards to Leah dancing and not being a good enough vocalist, which in turn is where you see people being like, yeah, but their songs aren't so vocally focused currently, so of course you're not gonna get to see Leah belt stuff out, right? But to the fact that Leah's not as good as a dancer as the rest of them, I do agree with that sentiment, by the way. But I think also she is in a group with very talented dancers. So it's like, yeah, the fact that she is not at the same level as them shows. But to say Leah is not a good dancer absolutely drives me wild. Drives me wild. Like, leave her alone, you know what I mean? All right, my favorite thing about Wannabe is literally Anthem of the Year, Song of the Year. You know what I mean? The meaning is so good. Because I think when teasers for this drop, a lot of people, including me to some extent, we were kind of like, oh, is this going to be like, I want to be you? Like, oh, I'm just a wannabe. You know what I mean? Which I think Still could have been a fun little song. But I do like to see instead going in the opposite direction of being, I want to be me. Like, I don't want to be nobody. I just want to be me. Love that for them. I do remember, I guess this kind of bleeds into my least favorite things. I do remember the conversation online on Instagram and on YouTube to an extent was about how ITZY having this image of being yourself and being proud to be yourself didn't fit them. And a lot of comparisons to BTS at the time. And honestly, can y'all like leave women alone? Is where I fall on that. But then also, like, the heck? Like, I just can't take it. Let it go. Which I guess people probably did. But anyway, I do remember seeing that online and being like, shut up. But also, my other favorite thing was we got to see kind of the dancing being elevated, and I loved that. We got to some iconic moves during this. Love, love, love that for us. We also got the gift of That's a No-No. I mean, honestly, legendary song. I love that song. But my other least favorite thing, other than the comparison stuff and saying it didn't fit them, the EP overall is just, I mean, it's like whatever. Like, That's a No-No is good, Wannabe's good, and then the other songs, honestly, like, they're okay every now and then, but like, just not for me. Like, they're just a one and done type scenario. Also, I want to say one more thing here is this is where we can see the ITZY identity that they were kind of crafting changing away from the more youthful, almost teen crush vibes of like independence and whatnot into a more, I guess, mature, not mature in the sense of chic and elegant, but just mature as in we're not little teenagers and, high school freshmen. You know what I mean? So that image is already changing with wannabe, and I think that is something to keep in mind here. Not shy, not me, it's it. Not shy, not me, it's it. Anyway, so my favorite thing, I love a good story-driven music video. I am that kind of girly, okay? And I need a story. I don't need a story, but I appreciate a story, and this had a story to it. I'm about that. I also liked the play with like the Western cowboy-esque stuff going on. And I don't know why, I love a good grungy gas station vibe. I don't know. I'm into that. When any group does that, I'm like, ooh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, but I'm into that. So 10 out of 10. I will say, interestingly enough, the story itself, because obviously at the end it turns out they're basically just getting like dessert and ice cream and stuff, and that was why they were after them. They were basically after an ice cream truck. Um, so they're kind of back to that youthful side of things, which I think is interesting because they go away from that during Wannabe. So it kind of gives me hope as someone really into their image and branding as like, okay, yeah, they're going back to that. Wannabe was just kind of an exploration into their identity further, but without using the same overall aesthetics and even concept to an extent. I love this. We see also the continuation of ITZY's sound. This is a better follow-up for Dalla and Icy than Wannabe is. It just is in that same vein of evolution. I've said evolution a lot. Sorry. But I love it. 10 out of 10. All of you not shy haters can just, honestly, you can just block me. Let's get into what is my least favorite thing about the era. And honestly, I guess I really have a hard time with this. I didn't even write anything down. The only thing that actually comes to mind as something I didn't like hearing about was from Woojin talking about how because of the dance movement at the beginning with her like hitting her thighs, about how she like legitimately like bruised herself and like had sore thighs because of that. And so I'm not a big fan of that because I'm like, you could have put her in different clothing to where that wouldn't have been as big of an issue. So, but like legitimately, when I say that is the only thing I can actually think of as a negative for this era, that's kind of it for me. I wasn't a big fan of Yuna's bangs. I don't know. Like literally, I don't know. I can't think of an outright thing I disliked about this era. So, not shy on top. I'm the mafia. my goodness. So my favorite part is so obviously the styling. Girl, have you ever seen so many people make brown look good? Okay, but honestly, the styling was so good through and through in the music video and their stages. I loved it. I also just I loved the idea of it. Do you know what this song does to me? I'm like, oh my God. And bro, Yuna's like rap talk in the second verse, that goes hard. I don't care who you are, that goes hard, okay? I love it. 10 out of 10 girls. No notes, no notes, truly. So kind of for my least favorite things though, I'm gonna sound like a broken record by the end of this video. I just know it. But the moving away from their original brand they were creating, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm not saying that their songs don't like sound like an ITZY song. They still do. But they're just taking away such fun elements that we saw in Dalla and Icy and even to an extent in Not Shy. And we also, by the way, still see those elements in their Japanese releases, as well as in, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for some of you, but in their English release. So, I just want you to keep that in mind. In their Korean releases, they're very much moving away from this identity they started with. And while I'm okay with groups changing, that's normal. I don't like it from the standpoint of they could still incorporate these things and it would still feel natural and it would elevate at least the music video. So, also didn't like that people were like, this song is offensive. I still don't get that. If that was you, please sound off in the comments because I don't understand. All right, y'all know I'm a loco hater. But I must say, I am not the same loco hater I once was. Okay? I used to detest this song and also the era because, ugh. We'll start with my least favorite, which is the album. That's why I detest the era. I felt like there was really nothing going for this at all. I still don't get how they sold so many of this album because while I don't think it belongs in the trash anymore, I still don't see a whole lot of merit to it. I definitely have come around to certain songs. I no longer think Boombox is the only good song on the album. However, it is the best song still, okay? Um, but goodness, that album, like I said, I don't hate it anymore, but wow, I just, I, I will say it was cohesive. It was cohesively wild. I don't know. My favorite thing about the era is kind of, I don't know, a trifold of things. The concept, styling, and identity execution all together. Oh, 1,000%. Thank you very much, JYP. So the song's called Loco, as we all know. So everything about the music video, about the styling, was just unhinged, wild, throwing things on to a mannequin and then on to one of the girls. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that. I love that. This stage is actually a horrible example of this. This like schoolgirl outfit, no, doesn't fit. What were they doing? But oh my gosh, it was so good. So good. I loved it. Most of their stages really still showed that too. I love that. And with Loco, we once again, like I said, that identity comes back. That original identity, that huge original kind of youthful vibe, as well as still being like, we're youthful and we're young, and but we're gonna be us, and this is how we do things. I love it. It really came back. We didn't get some of the same like pop art elements, things like that we see early on, but they clearly for Loco were like, let's go back to some of the original ideas on the drawing board. And I love that. I stand by that. This wound for all of us is still pretty fresh. So sneakers, my favorite part of the era are the B-sides. While there I have some issues with one of the B-sides, like overall, B-sides are very strong. So good on them. I mean, we got Racer, we got 365. I mean, honestly, so good. So, so good. Also, I want to say Sneakers does continue on the more bright and poppy origin image that they had, as well as like once again feeding into that like being themselves. I don't know, just putting their sneakers on, you know? On to the oh my goodness, what was going on portion of today. Um,
I don't really enjoy being slapped across the face by JYP. I don't think any of us really enjoyed that. But on a, for real note, this music video, this song feels like a cash grab and specifically feels like an Adidas and Gucci ad. Now then, I don't want to put my little tinfoil hat on here, but I think we have a real conspiracy theory and point to be made that this was literally just an ad. And honestly, maybe we'll do a video on that one day, but you can't convince me this wasn't just an Adidas and Gucci ad because all roads point to that. I mean, I don't know, just like do some Googling. Do some Googling's all I'm gonna
Okay. The thing that saved 2022 for ITZY, I swear to God. So, my favorite thing about Cheshire slash Cheshire, besides finding out how to say it, are the aesthetics. Like, I love it. I'm not even just talking about like styling. I'm just saying the overall aesthetic. The overall aesthetics with the dichotomy of black and white, so to speak. Like it's A or B, it's true or false. I like all of that, like the smoke screens that are going on and really being shown in the music video as well as conveyed to an extent in the lyrics. We love that. We love that, right? Once again, it is showcasing some of that original ITZY identity. And we're here for that. Also, this song like really keeps you guessing. Like I remember being like, "Oh, and now we're doing all this." So I like that. So, what don't we like? So, I feel like my complaint of this era is JYP didn't really promote this pre-release. I'm saying before this dropped, they could have really made some intrigue, and honestly, it probably would have helped given um the weirdness of sneakers. I think they should have done things before the release that to build on this intrigue and on the concept as a whole, obviously. I think we could have had some cool individual member teasers that would have been really awesome, as well as almost a little bit of a mini story. But it doesn't even have to make sense because that's kind of the point of Cheshire, right? It doesn't have to make sense. So I think it was a missed opportunity, and I don't get that. It just feels like it would have been like a no-brainer to be like, ah, we should create some mystery, some intrigue, some confusion even. And they didn't do that. So I don't know. Cake, I actually quite enjoy the choreography. I like how it literally looks like they're like baking a cake. I love that. It tells a story. Also, in that same vein, we see once again the upholding and kind of return of their original identity and branding in like the entirety of this music video. And I love that. And I feel like also even the soundscape of the whole EP builds onto that. So I love that. Love that. Okay, my thing I don't like, quite simply put, is the physical albums, at least the ones that were in the US. I don't know if I would have bought these to begin with, but I remember seeing them in store and being flabbergasted, and I mean that. I was like so taken aback because they're so hideous. Um, and I think there's a reason why, seemingly where I live anyway, like no one has bought them because, like, what is that? What even is that? They look so bad, in my opinion. Like, no, no, no. They're very ugly. But anyway, also Leah, adorable this whole era. 10 out of 10. Love that for her. Untouchable. Look at how cute. Anyway, my favorite is the album. I actually really enjoy this album. Think it's great. I also love all the solo tracks. I'm convinced Yeji is actually Avril Lavigne now. So I mean, there's just a lot going on there for me. But the album is so good. It's very cohesive. It definitely sounds like it just logically it flows, which is why it's cohesive, obviously. But my least favorite, this is so uninspired.
This whole comeback feels uninspired, which I think is odd because they clearly had a lot of planning for it. And they put a lot of effort into things, including like the pre-release things such as like Born to Be, etc. It just feels very empty to me and not in a, ooh, they were going for minimalism way. Like in a, it feels hollow. You know what I mean? The music video is a big pass for me. I like the aesthetics and the visuals. I don't like anything else because it's not good. It's not it's not good. They could have had something really cool here. I would have liked to have seen something like a cyberpunk kind of feel because I feel like that could have really gone well with Untouchable, as well as with the whole soundscape on the album as a whole. That could have been a really cool thing they did, but they didn't. They did like an apocalyptic kind of setting, but nothing's really going on. I don't know. I don't really enjoy it at all. It literally is just a set at the end of the day, and I'm not into that. I am absolutely not into it at all. And I have to say, if they continue down this road, while I think there are moments on the album itself that tie in nicely to the ITZY identity and branding, I think overall, if they continue down this path, they're definitely separating from their original branding that they had set up. Which, as I've said, I think it's fine to evolve, but this is a very big step away in a way we have not seen even when I've talked about this issue already. We haven't seen them pull apart quite this much, I think. So, yeah, I think we're going away from some of the fun, quirky, poppy, youthful stuff. I'm not saying we're not gonna have that, but I think it's going away. And I don't like that. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But anyway, that is the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about their eras. Yep, that's basically it. Goodbye.